Welcome into the Sunday Journal. I'm your host, Matt Pitta. Thanks for being with us today. We get together each week to talk about issues facing Cape Cod, the islands, and all of southeastern Mass. Welcome into the program. Today we're going to talk about an organization that's been around for several years now, helping out the students of Barnstable. The organization is called the Barnstable Education Foundation. They have an event coming up this coming Saturday, November 14th at 10 a.m. The Barnstable Education Foundation, as they support their innovative ideas and educational initiatives that are not currently funded by tax dollars. We brought in a couple of members of the board, one of the founders as well, to talk about it. I'd like to welcome in Karen McDonald, who's a member of the board, also a past member of the school committee. And Karen, you're also one of the original founders of the Barnstable Education Foundation, I understand, as well.
Yes.
Thanks for being here. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I've been fine, and nice to see you.
Do you miss the school committee?
I miss working with the teachers and the children, not some of the issues, but yes.
I remember covering you for many years as you're a member of the school committee, so thanks for coming in, Karen. A pleasure. And also, Donna Clark is with us. Donna, pleasure to meet you. You're a member of the board as well, the secretary of the organization, and also a former teacher as well, Donna.
That's right.
Did I get all that correct?
You did.
Perfect. Yes. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate it very much. So we're going to talk about an event we want people to know that you have coming up on Saturday, November 14th at 10 a.m. Again, it is a run and walk, all in support of the Barnstable Education Foundation, a 5K run and walk that starts in front of the Centerville Elementary School. We'll talk about that, but let's kind of set the stage for a little bit here and talk about this organization, and we'll educate some listeners about what it is if they're not familiar. So can I start with you, Karen? Is that okay, as one of the original founders? Karen McDonald is one of the original founders of the Barnstable Education Foundation. I remember when this group came into being, Karen, it's been a while now, right? How many years ago was this founded?
Well, that we've been active since 2009. What
was the idea behind this? As I said, I set it up very briefly at the top here of the program that this organization raises money, collects money for programs, initiatives, etc., that just aren't going to be funded by the school department. That simplifies it, but give me an overview of what this organization is.
Well, having been on school committee, I can see that budgets were getting tighter and tighter, and there were many good educational opportunities that we couldn't provide for students. And so I thought that maybe if we had an organization, as some public schools were developing, that could fund some of these educational ideas that were outside of the budget and kind of unique, and to provide those experiences for kids. And that's basically where it started. And our first grants were awarded in 2009, and that was in January, I believe. And we decided January was not a great time to award a grant, because by the time teachers could get the money and get the whatever it was that they needed to provide this experience, it was late in the school year. So we now award them in the fall.
So the idea came about, you were seeing that a lot of these groups that would come forward, or these teachers, they had great ideas, but some of them just, the reality of the budget was that they were not going to get funded. So.
Right, and so that we were not denying children education, but there were really extraordinary ideas out there that we couldn't provide. And we wanted to do that. And so I got a group of people together, and we started working towards it. And then Sheila Burns retired from Centerville, and we said, hey, great president. And she has been president of the organization since and works very hard.
Do you guys operate as a nonprofit entity? Is that how you operate?
Right.
Now, what's important for folks to know, I remember this from covering this initially, is that you are not associated with the school budget, the department, or anything like that. You're not tied
we're not tied to the town in any way. In fact, one of our stipulations is you are not employed by the town, the school system. So we're a completely separate entity. And what we do is we have a grant committee that works to look over all the grant proposals that teachers have submitted, and we've just done that recently. And then on the 17th of November, we will be awarding grants to the teachers.
I know you've done that at Alberto's before. Is that what they traditionally still do?
Yeah.
Very nice. Let's welcome into the conversation again Donna Clark. Donna is a member of the board, the secretary, and a former teacher as well. Donna, give me a little of your background, if you would. Former teacher, how'd you get involved with this organization?
Well, I'm a close friend of Sheila's and Karen's, and I retired in 2008. So I had a little more free time, and it was just something that I felt committed to. I have 5 grandchildren in the system.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Son who works in the system, daughter-in-law, so a lot of ties. So it was just a good fit for me. So I like spending my time doing some things for the kids in the schools. And this is a great season for us right now because, as Karen just said, we just yesterday delivered the letters to the people who are receiving grants in this season. So that was a happy day to be able to do that.
So you saw the need too. So where did you teach? You taught in Barnstable?
Centerville Elementary School, first grade.
Were you always in elementary? What was
Yes,
your?
yes, I was.
So was this organization was not up and running when you were still teaching, or right when it was actually happening right at the same time?
I think I retired in 2008.
Yeah.
And we had the organization set up, but we hadn't given grants yet. We were sort of did that first in 2009.
Talk to me, Donna, if you would, about your experience in the classroom and some of the times the challenges you would have as a teacher when you'd maybe have a great idea, an initiative, a project you wanted to do, but the reality was that the funding just wasn't there.
That's true. And a lot of times you would hear things that someone else had been able to do maybe in another school or another town, and that would sound great. But depending on when the funding had been, how their funding had been received, or how would we do this all of a sudden if I heard about this in December and I wanted to do it in April or something like that. So timing was a big thing. And just that things, as prices of everything goes higher and higher, from textbooks to the everyday things, so many of the other things that definitely enrich kids' experiences and are memorable experiences for kids, the price tag is too hefty for the budget sometimes.
We hear so many stories, and I've seen it over the years, of teachers that they've got some great project or an idea, and they go to the schools, they can't get it in the budget, and they end up just taking the money out of their own pocket, and that they can't afford that on their own. But some of these teachers are so dedicated to these projects that they'll pay for stuff on their own. I'm sure that maybe you folks did that. Maybe you've heard about it
I think we've all done it.
We've all done it. We've all done it. If we're doing we'd be doing a special project for a holiday or gifts for parents or who knows what, but there would just be a need to go out and get things. And parents very often are great, too. If you put out a wish list of things that you might need, parents come through often. But every teacher that I know has dipped into their own pocket and paid for something here or there.
So the Barnstable Education Foundation runs totally on, individual donations and contributions. So what type of events? We're going to talk about this one now, but do you do several events during the year, Karen? Now, you've got this one coming up on the 14th.
Right.
Tell me about your events.
Well, we worked this summer on the Hydrangea Festival with the Chamber of Commerce, and we had gardens open on 2 days, and that was quite successful. And I assume that we're probably leaning towards doing that again next year. For 2 years, we had a mini golf course on Main Street that we built across from Alberto's.
That was yours. I forgot about that.
That was ours. And
that was fun.
Basically, there's a small group of people, core people, that work on this organization. When we're having an event, we tap into others, volunteers. But people don't want to come to meetings, and they're busy. So it was hard to get people all day, every day, and into the evening for that. We also ran a golf tournament for 2 years, but that was labor-intensive, too. So we thought we'd try the race. We send out notices, backpack notices to parents just before the holidays and again at the end of the year, so that if parents want to make a donation to the Education Foundation, they can, and then they receive cards to send to their teachers as a thank you. And there are different ways like that we do try and bring in money.
You're calling it the Barnstable Education Foundation Walk Run for Success.
Right.
I see. So let's talk about that. What do people need to know? You've got a couple things going on here. You have a walk and a run, so we want to make sure we get out a lot of information about that, et cetera. So let's talk about that, the specifics of the event. Donna, you want to handle that one?
Okay. We've been fortunate to have a race coordinator working with us, Mr. Pat Lintell. And he's kept us on track because this was definitely new to all of us. We all know runners, but we've never been involved in the nitty-gritty of putting it together, so Pat's been great. So what we've come up with is this date that you've mentioned, November 14th, starting and finishing at Centerville Elementary School. There are 2 separate youth races. The younger group is up to 6, and then 7 through 12. And then any kids older than that would run the complete 5K. It is a 5K race, the adult race walk. And
what's the route here? I'm looking for your routes.
Centerville Elementary School, down Bay Lane to South Main Street, down South Main Street to the intersection at Main Street, going through the village by the library and all that circling around out to Bumps River and back to school.
Okay. You're going by Four Seas. They're not open, though, so no ice cream. No ice cream for the runners, right?
But if you see the chair out on the sidewalk, you know somebody's
You can go there
right?
afterwards.
That's exactly right. Why'd you tell the secret about that?
Oh, everybody I know knows that secret already.
Spend too much time there when the grandkids are coming.
And we have lots of great prizes, and we want to thank our sponsors who have been terrific.
Go ahead,
to
sure.
a lot of. I didn't want to name them just because there are so many, and I don't want to. They wouldn't care about us doing it on the radio. I know because they'll be publicized on our the gift bags that all the runners get, and on our shirts and so forth. But people have been great and coming up with some real nice prizes too.
So people can get involved by running or walking, or they can maybe donate to a team or what have you. So,
absolutely.
There's obviously still a lot of time for people to still get involved, right? If they want to run, they can get involved right to the end, I would imagine, right?
Yep. Absolutely, right to the day.
What's the best way for them to do so? Should they be signing up on the web, or what's the best way you're directing them to do that? Okay.
They can either sign up on www.semsports, which is SEMC sports.com, or they could go to the Barnstable Education Foundation and look on our website, and there's a link. And so you can sign up there until 5 o'clock November 12th. And other than that, you would do same-day registration starting at Centerville Elementary School, 7:30 to 9:30. So either way, you can sign up.
Sounds good. We're talking...
Right to the last minute.
Right.
To the last minute. You decide you wake up that day, I want to go running.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we're hoping for great weather.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm sure it will be. We're talking about the Barnstable Education Foundation's upcoming 5K Run Walk for Success. It is taking place on November 14th. It starts at 10 a.m. right in front of the Centerville Elementary School. Appropriate, I guess, that the walk and a run for this organization starts in front of a school.
Right.
I'm sure that was planned. And then, as we said, down Bay Lane to South Main to the lights at the corner of Four Seas and through the village over to Bumps River and then back up to Centerville Elementary. It's a nice casual 5K and walk. So if you're not a runner, you can also walk it. So definitely doable. And again, it all gets underway on the 14th of November. Plenty of time to sign up. The website is SEMCsports.com, right? SEMCsports.com. And this is a way for you to help out. So let's talk about the money. All this money raised, you're going basically back to the teachers, right?
Right. No, we don't have any paid workers on this organization. We're strictly nonprofit, and all the money goes back. And we're also trying to establish an endowment for this the schools, and we're having a difficult time with that because we find so many projects that we want to fund. But I thought I'd mention a few projects that we funded in the past.
Absolutely. That was going to be my next question.
Okay.
So let's find out what some of these
events.
And
then Donna's going to tell some that we're funding for this year.
Sure. So these are projects that have already been funded.
Funded at various times in the past few years. But one of them was for a forensic toxicology kit. And this was a lab kit that the equipment would be available year after year, and you can watch the CSI shows and all these shows on TV, and there's all this forensic testing. Well, now the students at Barnstable High in some of their courses can use this kit, do some of this testing, and it's really been wonderful. People have been very excited about it, and they can perform drug screenings and pretend urine tests and stuff, but they know how to do this. And I think for people that might go into this field in the future, into nursing or medicine or forensics, any of that, this is really valuable experience to see the applications of something like this. We also purchased a digital binocular microscope for the high school, and that was to help with pathology and biotechnology class to allow the capture of microscopic specimens for use to review, and you can project them and they could be used for quizzes and things. And one thing we try to do with our grants is fund things that can be used for more than one classroom. Perhaps it'll be all of a certain grade level, or all of a school, or all the biology classes. That's important to us, is collaboration. And also we look for grants that the teachers have collaborated with other organizations. Sometimes we might fund a field trip, the actual admission price, but we want them to get a bus grant or PTA to fund another part. One of the big things. These are high school things, but I'd like to also talk about a couple of
Sure, go ahead,
other
yeah.
ones. The Credit for Life Fair has been sponsored by partly by us in the past, and that's a wonderful fair where the students in the high school come for a day, and they have to learn all about credit and lending, retirement savings, insurance, housing, food. They're given a job, and whatever that job, the money that they would get from their job, they're told that they're a teacher and they make X amount of dollars. They have to go purchase all these things and see if they can do it within their budget. And if they have trouble, there's counselors there. And these are community volunteers from all these entities that do that. And that's fantastic to see the kids. But we also...
Sure, we're going to run a little short on time,
Oh,
but
sorry.
give us a quick couple of headlines,
Okay.
and then we'll get over to Donna.
All right, we've worked with elementary kids, working with Mike Gyra and the Cobb Astro Park, with kids in his class in astronomy, and a partnership there. We've done an artist in residence at an elementary school. And that was really successful because the kids did projects that they were able to take home. And a mystery dinner theater at the Barnstable Intermediate School where a children's author helped the children write a play and then perform it. And I've had the pleasure of seeing some of these programs, and they're wonderful.
That's great. Those are things that have been funded. Donna,
Right.
just a quick couple moments here. What's on the agenda for things to be funded?
Okay, well, we've we were happy to be able to fund the engineering club at Barnstable High School. Has some exciting things going on, and we contributed to their funding for underwater robotics, drones, and also designing ukuleles, which we thought
That's
sounded
fun.
unique. Yep.
Absolutely.
So this is a club. It's an after-school club. So, of course, some kids are taking that type of course anyway, but other people can also make use of that. Mike Gyra, who Karen just mentioned, he received a grant for astrophotography, which will be used in the David Cole Observatory at the Astro Park for highly technical students working on imaging in deep space objects. So that sounds interesting. And a real fun one for West Villages received a grant for spiral-bound sketchbooks so that they can keep a record neatly bound of their whole work throughout the year. So there's a lot going on in all the schools. We're happy to be able to spread it around to all the schools in the Barnstable Public Schools.
That's great. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but thank you so much for both of you being here today. Donna Clark and Karen McDonald, both members of the Barnstable Education Foundation. The BEF Walk Run for Success takes place on Saturday, November 14th. More information you can get at semcsports.com. Thank you for both of you being here today. We hope you have a big turnout coming up on the 14th.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Thanks for being with us today on the Sunday Journal. I'm Matt Pitta.